Hey guys, today's episode we're looking at courting the king, which teams can recruit LeBron in free agency post draft, and we look at the draft prospects that each team signed and how they can free up the 35 mil cap space that's needed to sign LeBron to a max cap. In this first episode, we're looking at the 76ers and what they can do. So we look at Philly's current roster with Simmons and Embiid as their big two, Saric as the third wheel in this lineup. JJ Redick is now a free agent, and as a result, we put TJ McConnell into the shooting guard position in the starting roster, which is a need that the Philly needs to address. So there's their starting five. The roster that the rest of the roster, the bench unit, was Fultz and Bayless, Anderson and Holmes. And the surprising thing was that the 76ers recruited five guards in their draft. So they only actually have one center on their current roster, with Amir and the other centers all now free agents. So there's a bit of work to do with the depth charts with the Philly roster, having minimal front court needs that need to be filled. All right, so free agencies around the corner, and everyone's in the market to sign Kawhi. Kawhi, so there's their starting four with their hole as a shooting guard position, and Kawhi would fit in perfectly in this roster. So how do they free up the cap space needed to do that? So Kawhi's on a 20 mil contract for the 2018-19 season, so we need to make that fit. So to make that fit, the Spurs would get Fultz, Holmes, and Covington, and Timothy on his rookie contract. So 3 rookie contracts plus a reasonable 4-year contract on Robert Covington to the Spurs. It may need a sweetener with the draft pick, but that's possibly one of the better deals that the Spurs would receive for a 1-year loan too, because there's no telling that Kawhi's always been said to want to be linked with LA, so it's 1-year loan. And that allows 31 million cap space for that free agent. So why would the Spurs do this? So two, Markel Fultz and Robert Covington would be improvements in their starting roster, and Holmes would give some depth to their power forward position after Aldrich. So in that deal, that would make them very young. You got Lonnie Walker in there as their draft pick, plus that Patty Mills and Jonte Murray would then move to the bench unit. So they've got the depth chart there with their guards, with Markel Fultz as a starting. Whether that is actually able to happen with only 11 games under his belt, but there's Patty Mills as a vet there. So that's not bad for the Spurs, especially if they can get a draft pick too, and that 2021 Heat pick comes into play there. So if they were able to sign Kawhi with that sort of a trade, how do they free up that last little bit? So to get from 31 mil in cap space to that max cap slot, needs to clear another 4 or 5 mil. So if you've got your big four there, and you want to try and free up that max spot, you need to get rid of that Bayless 9 mil contract for 1 season. Some teams that are looking to the 2019 draft or free agency would be willing to look to move a contract to have a 1-year deal in that Bayless contract. You might need a sweetener like Kyrie Thomas as a rookie, and you may need to look to sweeten it with a 2019 draft as well. But if you do that, you could flip it for someone on a lower contract, someone like a center that you need to fill that role. So Scale comes to mind. Willie Cauley-Stein would be a better option, but good luck with that. And he's only on a 1 year as well. But being able to flip for that would free up that max slot to go along with those other salaries that you've already got in your starting lineup, and that frees your max slot to go after the big man. And he's on that full 35 mil max. Then the remaining thing would be to fill out your roster with vets that are chasing a title, similar to what Golden State did with David West. There's plenty that come to mind. Another banana boat guy would be happy to come and play in one more year with and matching D Wade and LeBron. Although you still need another big to put into that lineup, so someone like a Michael Beasley on a 1 year plus or whatever you can get in chasing that title. But that lineup there with Simmons, Kawhi, LeBron, Saric, and Embiid is formidable. And you compare it to the Golden State Warriors, who are the pinnacle, and what everyone's striving to achieve. If you look at the PER performance rating data for the regular season, Steph Curry 28s, and Kevin Durant. There's 2 All-Stars in that team: Draymond Green, Klay Thomas. So 4 previous All-Stars, and then you plug in Kawhi, LeBron, who are both top 5 players in the league. LeBron's arguably the best player ever, the GOAT. Ben Simmons is a future All-Stars, as well as Joel Embiid. That's 4 All-Stars versus 4 All-Stars. Saric and Iguodala, it could go either way. I would say Saric, younger, bigger, able to shoot more, is a better option than that Hampton 5, the Andre Iguodala. But the Sixers would have a very, very good shot at the title next season, and possibly winning that championship with LeBron. The other option, or the other thing that comes into play there, is that LeBron's always said that it's more than just basketball or the playing that is playing a role in where he moves to, and giving the option. There's no GM. Brett Brown's doing the role of coach and GM at the moment, and it's never been done where a player is a player GM. Maybe that's a perfect fit for LeBron, playing as a player and having the ability to mold the team in what he wants, which is what he does anyway. Maybe rather than fighting the GM, maybe LeBron needs to be the GM. Anyway, just some food for thought there in the Sixers pushed to sign LeBron and possibly Kawhi into their starting 5. If you like this video, please subscribe, chuck some comments in there, and I'll look to address things. The next video in this series is LA's push to court the king.